What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I am going to be talking about Manchester United's last game that we went and played, Newcastle at home at the Theatre of Dreams. So let's just get straight into today's video, guys. So we made two changes from the last game against Watford. Talk about the starting 11. So we started with De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Greenwood, Pereira, Rashford and Martial. Overall reaction: Martial, Rashford and Greenwood fire Reds to win over Newcastle. That feels nice to win again, finally. Better performance yesterday. We had a nightmare before Christmas and we had to win today to get back on track. We reacted really well to yesterday. Can't get too carried away now. Too easy in the end. Win done and 3 points done. Now, you guys might be thinking, Brett, what the hell is going on with this quality? What the hell have you done? Have you bought a camera or something? No, I haven't bought a camera. It's because I've got a brand new phone, and that's why the qualities are much more better this time round. So I've got a new phone and I'm buzzing that I've got this new phone in my hands now. So the quality on my videos are going to be a lot more better from previously, and the lighting's going to be a lot more better, even though I don't have nothing shining on me. It's just these lights above me, really. The quality on these videos are going to be absolutely insane, guys, for some time now. But anyway, guys, let's just get straight into today's video. Let's just get straight into these questions. What did I make of the performance? The performance on the whole, it was, I think, apart from the first 20 minutes of the game, we were fantastic in the end. We knew we had to bounce back. We knew we had to win. We knew we had to get the 3 points. We had to react. We had to win. We had to make sure we won as well. Thank God we're beating a bloody lesser team for once as well. I asked for improvement from the squad. We improved that squad. We went with we dropped James, brought Greenwood on. We started Pereira instead of Lingard, and it made a difference. And when you change things up and when you bench players, it makes a bit more of a difference, and we saw that in the game as well. First 20 minutes of the game wasn't going our way. We were just a little bit too slow intensity wise. The tempo was just a little bit slow. We did get off with a quick start, but then the intensity and the tempo was a lot more slower, and then that's where then we sort of backed off a little bit, and we were sort of controlling that half. We were trying to control the first 20 minutes in the game, but then they just got us on the counter attack, and then they scored the first goal. But yeah, overall we knew we had to win. We had to get the 3 points. We had to react. We had to win against Newcastle. Steve Bruce came back to Old Trafford, so we knew we had to win this game, and we won the game. Couldn't be more happier. Moves us up to 7th now or something like that in the table. Not too sure. Yeah. Bad performance. I asked for improvement, and we reacted really well. We had to win, of course, and but yeah, first half, I think the first 20 minutes we were a little bit slow on our feet. We may have had a quick start, we would have got on the front foot, but then we sort of backed off a little bit. We tried to control the first 20 minutes, and then they sort of, they just had one good opportunity in front of goal, and then they took it. They scored it, and it's that bloody Matty Longstaff once again. And but yeah, the first 20 minutes didn't go our way, but then once after, when we knew that they scored, we knew we had to score like literally 2 goals to win this game, 2 or more goals to win this game, and we got another one. Martial got one like literally 4 minutes later, and then I think Rashford, then Greenwood scored that great goal, and then Rashford scored a great header as well, and then that made us 3-1 up inside the first half. Then the second half we came out. We knew the game wasn't really dead and buried. It wasn't really finished, because if we sort of sat back a little bit, that would have probably invited Newcastle onto us. We would have had to do some defending, and then we would have probably conceded a goal, and then we would have had to react with getting another goal. And then probably as the players were getting tired, if this didn't happen, we probably wouldn't have been able to score a goal, and they could have probably easily drawn that game if they had a little bit more fight and desire. But we knew we had to make sure we had to score another goal just to make sure that the game was finished. And then Martial did that brilliantly just to make it 4-1. And then pretty much after that, in the second half, it was pretty much a training session for us. We were just playing it sideways and backwards. We tried, we defended really well. We just couldn't really let Newcastle come on the break and just not really break us down. So we knew we had to be solid at the back. We had to keep it tight at the back. Midfield wise, we knew we needed that creativity, and then in the final third, we knew we had to make sure that we had to have that last pass, the end product, score your chances and stuff like that, and that's what we got out of these players. Played much better from against Watford, and we just need more now from that, and we've got to keep this up now, because we don't want to really drop off against Burnley, because absolutely anything could happen against Burnley. So we've got to stay on our A game against Burnley, but nevertheless the performance was good. It was good. We've got to make sure we do that now against Burnley, and just don't put our foot off the pedal now. At least we're beating another lesser team. We're going up another lesser team, so we've got to make sure we're going with the right mentality and the right mindset against Burnley, and hopefully we can get the 3 points. Again, it's a big turnaround, so but hence why I'm uploading this video on the day of the match day as well, so apologies for that, but can't really do much about it really when there's a big turnaround and you only get and there's only 48 hours in between from one game to another really, so can't really do much about that, I'm afraid. So but yeah, performance overall on a whole was fantastic. First half performance was really good apart from the first 20 minutes. Second half just grinded out, saw out a fantastic result, and we got the 3 points, we got the victory, and we move on really and bring on Burnley on Saturday now. What was the difference from Watford to Newcastle? I think the difference was we had to make sure we needed that creative midfielder. We were just way too slow on the counter attack against Watford. The tempo was just too slow. The intensity was just too slow. We were too slow on the ball. The transition was just too slow, and literally everything that was just too slow just came absolutely firing against Newcastle. But like I said, the first 20 minutes wasn't the best, but then once we got going, we scored goals for fun, and then but the difference was the intensity and the tempo was a lot more quicker. We were a lot sharper on the ball. We had to make sure that we mentally had to be ready, and we needed the mindset there. We had to obviously prepare well for this game, and we had to make sure we had to win this game as well. It wasn't all about just what was the difference as well. It was all about make sure coming in with the right mentality as well, because these younger players just get the pants pulled down if they're not concentrating or focusing, and that's why we let that one goal in and let it step in really. So the difference was the intensity and the tempo was a lot more quicker. We were a lot more sharp on the ball. The movement was a lot quicker. We got the ball out wide. We played with energy. We played with fluidity. We played with urgency in our play. The transition was quicker, and we just bossed it, and we just had to make sure we got the win, and that's all we did really. Why couldn't we perform like that against Watford? Listen, the thing is, it's about the mentality in this team, and if our mentality was different against Watford, and if we didn't have to take them too lightly, we would have absolutely smashed them. But Watford have now turned a corner after beating us, because they've beaten us, they've drawn to Sheffield. But the reason why we couldn't perform like that against Watford was because firstly the players didn't turn up, secondly the mindset was wrong, the mentality was wrong, and but then again the intensity was a lot slower, the tempo was slow, the movement was slow. We were playing it sideways and backwards. We couldn't get the ball out to Dan James, Rashford or Martial. There was just literally no service for them whatsoever. There was just nothing there. Nothing clicked, and that's why we just couldn't perform like that against Watford. And in this game, you could clearly tell that we played with width. We had pace in the squad, but even against Watford, we had width and pace. We just didn't use it enough, and the reason why we didn't use it enough was because literally Watford exposed us completely, and they were reading what we were doing all the time. But the thing is though, in our end product as well, the thing is about in our attacking, we found the last pass, but no one just couldn't finish it really. Whoever literally shot the ball on goal, it was going straight into Ben Foster's hands, and that's why you got to look to the corner or just blast it with power. So, and that was just not there against Watford, and that's why we just really couldn't perform against Watford, because the mentality wasn't there on the day. We got our pants pulled down, obviously. But again, with these lesser teams, it's about the mentality. And if you don't go in the game with the right mentality, you can easily lose these games. That's why you've always got to be mentally, physically ready, and the mindset's got to be there on the day. So the reason why we just couldn't perform like that against Watford was because of the mentality, really. If the mentality was a lot better, we would have absolutely smashed them. But because it wasn't there, we got beat and we got our pants pulled down, really. We are halfway through the season. How do I assess the first half of the season? I mean, the first half of the season has been all right, I think. You know, we had a good start against Chelsea. We won that 4-0. But then we went sort of on a downer. We should have beaten Wolves. We should have beaten Palace. We should have beaten Southampton. We should have beaten Watford. We should have beaten Everton. So we've been really struggling with these lesser teams as well. But the thing is that we've turned up for the likes of Liverpool, Leicester, City, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal. So we're turning up for these games, but we're just not turning up for the lesser teams, really. And that's because of the mentality, really. But I think it's been a good start to the season. We keep having a bad patch, but we need to be more consistent, and we're still inconsistent. So that's why we just got to get back to consistency like that. But like I said in a couple of videos ago, I said we go on a good run, and then we dip, and then we go back on a run, and then we dip again. So we need to find that consistency, and it's got to come somehow. And if we can sort that consistency out in the second half of the season, we could get top four. Honestly, we could get top four. And we don't want to write this season off as well. Ollie is writing this season off already when you shouldn't be. You should be thinking about this season to get into top four. Never mind about you in Europa League, FA Cups and Carabao Cups. You've got to make sure you get top four. And if we don't get top four, who knows? But then we've got to win the Europa League if we don't get top four. So, I mean, it's been an all right start to the season, first half of the season. But we've got to make sure we've got to go into Burnley and start it off with a bang in the second half of the season. So we've got to make sure that we've got to win against the lesser teams and make sure we turn up for the big games as well. We've also, and a big game is next week against Arsenal. We've got to make sure we turn up for them, and we've got to make sure we try and beat Liverpool, because they're just on a roll as well. So we've got to make sure at least someone beats them at least. To be fair, Liverpool are just not even that great this season as well. They've been getting away with it most of the time. But they've been getting away with it with their performances. I don't think that they're great, to be fair, and they're just getting away with it, I think. Who is my man of the match? Now, there was obviously the likes of Wan-Bissaka, Greenwood and Martial nominated. I have to go with Martial because he scored 2 great goals. Wan-Bissaka played great, and obviously Greenwood scored that absolute rocket of a goal, but I have to give it Martial. He was my man of the match. How do we beat Burnley? The way we're going to beat Burnley is we have to make sure we come out quick, we get on the front foot, we create chances, we need energy, we need to be bright on the ball, we need to control the game, we need to be sharp on the ball, the movement needs to be bang on, we need to make sure when they come on the counter-attack, we've got to defend properly, and we need that creative midfielder. Obviously, McTominay's now injured, so probably Pogba's going to start now with Fred, so that's a shame. So Pogba's going to have to drop back a lot deeper now. The way we're going to beat Burnley is if we break them down, we have to come out quick, we've got to be on the front foot, we've got to create chances, we've got to make sure the movement's there, everything's got to be there spot on. We've got to put our chances away when we create chances. I mean, their goalkeeper is not even that great, to be fair, Nick Pope. We've got to make sure we're on our A game. The mentality's got to be there, the mindset's got to be there. Physically, we've got to be ready as well. Not much time to prepare for this one as well. Literally only one day, and then we play again. So these players have got to be ready. They've got to turn up. Got to make sure we have a good start, create chances. When they're coming on the counter-attack, we must defend properly. We must get men behind the ball, and we must keep our shape, be organised, and that's probably the way how we're going to beat Burnley. And make sure you take your chances, because if you don't take your chances, we're in for a long night, we're in for a long game. Make sure we get Burnley out of the way. We've got to go in with the right mentality. If we go in with the right mentality, and beat Burnley. That's a positive. And then that's us building gradually the confidence in the team again. And then we can go and beat Arsenal next week as well. So if we can beat Burnley, then we can go and beat Arsenal next week, and I'm looking forward to that game as well. So getting into the goals now. First goal, Shaw passed it to Rashford. Rashford passed it back to Shaw. Shaw finds a gap, passed it to Pereira. Pereira sets up Martial, and Martial shoots, and the keeper makes a mistake for 1-1. Fantastic first goal. Second goal, good pressure by Martial and the keeper. The keeper passed it to his defender. The defender gifts it to Greenwood. Greenwood takes 2 touches and scores an absolute bullet, but gets a slight deflection for 2-1. Third goal, great intelligent play by McTominay. McTominay passed it to Shaw. Shaw passed it to Fred. Fred passed it to Pereira. Pereira passed it to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka puts in a fantastic cross, and Martial heads it in for 3-1. Absolutely fantastic goal. Fourth goal, just to top things off, Wan-Bissaka keeps the ball in play. The defender tries to play it back for the keeper, and Martial is the first to react. He runs and puts the ball over the top of the keeper for 4-1, and that goal won us the 3 points and got us over the line and got us the victory. Now getting into the stats now, possession-wise for Manchester United, it was written in the stars, we controlled that game, and the possession for Manchester United was 74.1%, for Newcastle it was 25.9%. Goals for United it was 4, Newcastle 1. Total shots for Man United it was 22, and Newcastle only had 7 shots. Total shots on target, United only had 10 and Newcastle had 2, and they scored 1 goal, so that's not great. Shot accuracy for Man United it was 45.5%, and for Newcastle it was 28.6%. Shots inside the box for Man United it was 8, and for Newcastle it was 5. Shots outside the box for Man United it was 14, and for Newcastle it was 2. Total passes for Man United it was 814. I'm sure that's the most passes this season. For Newcastle it was 284 passes, not that great to be fair. Pass accuracy for Man United it was 90.2%, and for Newcastle it was 71.5%. Substitutions, McTominay went off for Pogba. Talk about McTominay's performance. Went in for a blood and thunder challenge with Longstaff and hurt himself. Kept on going and started the attack for the third before he came off at the interval. Hope McTominay comes back quick. Wish you a speedy recovery, and hope we see you back on the pitch pretty quick. He's got a knee damaged ligament. Hope to see you back on the pitch pretty soon as well, McTominay. Rashford went off for Lingard. Talk about Rashford's performance. Rose well to meet Wan-Bissaka's cross to deprive Newcastle of any belief they could get back into the game. Came off to be rested. Martial went off for Mata. Talk about Martial's performance. Buvaraka meekly let Martial's first in, although Sean Longstaff claimed the assist for the second. The Frenchman's take was lovely. Let's keep this up now. Next up we've got Burnley. Now Burnley are sat 12th in the table. Now this is another lesser team that we're coming up against on the weekend on Saturday. Obviously, like I said, big turnaround as well. We can't really do much about that really, because obviously after that game we play again in the next 48 hours, 50 hours really. It is a big turnaround. I think in this game it's just all about we need to make sure we get another win. If we get another win under our belt, obviously we get the 3 points and that will move us up the table. We should not be struggling against Burnley. And this is the thing, what happened to us against Watford. We really struggled against Watford, then we go on a high again. So we make sure, let's keep that consistency up and let's go and beat Burnley. To be fair, Burnley had a good start to the season. They were on fire, but then they sort of dropped off a little bit. They're not up to their best. Just currently lost to Everton yesterday away from home, and it ended 1-0 to Everton. So that's a good start for Carlo Ancelotti. For Burnley-wise, they've been scoring 1 goal a game, and they've been nearly conceding 2 goals a game. For me, I don't think Burnley, they had a good start to the season. Don't get me wrong, but then they're just sort of dropping off a little bit. They're capitulating a little bit now as well. To be fair, I hope we don't have a problem with these, because the thing is, we need to make sure we're going with the right mentality, the right mindset, be physically, mentally prepared for this game. And if we win this game, then we've got high hope of beating Arsenal next week. Arsenal are not in great form either. So if we can beat Burnley are there at the minute, they're sort of having a bit of a bad patch at the moment. this is the great opportunity to go and beat Burnley. They have been beaten at home as well, so we don't want to write them off. And sometimes they'll look at the fixture list and they'll go, oh shit, Man United, it's our FA Cup final. So they're going to be going for it from minute 1 to minute 90. It's going to be a good fight, good test, but Burnley should not be a problem against us. And this is what people are coming out saying, oh, it should be not a problem. We should be beating them 5-0 and all this shebang and all this crap. But look what happened against Watford. It's written in the stars, really. And these are games that Ollie should be winning, really, to keep his job alive. So far, Burnley have won 7, they've drawn 3 games, and they've lost 9 games. Burnley have lost 4 games at home this season so far, and they've got beat by Liverpool, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and Man City. They're the 4 teams that they've got beat at home so far this season. And I mean, 3 of them are from the top 6 from last season as well. So I mean, let's at least add Man United to that list as well, because if we don't, then there's serious problems with us as well. I think in this game it's all about make sure we get the win, get the 3 points, and like I said before, we've got to make sure we come out quick, got to be on the front foot, got to create chances. Defensively, we've got to stay rock solid, defend when we need to defend when they're on the attack. We need the creative midfielder there in the midfield to get us forward as well. And then in the final third, we just need the last pass, the end product. Make sure you take your chances and make sure you score on your chances as well, because that's going to be important. And when they're on the attack, make sure we get men behind the ball, be organised. Don't let your heads drop as well, because that's what happened against Watford. And we've got to make sure we keep our chins up high as well. If we go 1-0 down or somehow, keep your heads up, because absolutely anything could happen in football. At the end of the day, we should be beating Burnley. To me, I don't think Burnley are playing that great at the minute. They just lost to Everton. They only just lost though. But at the end of the day, this will be their FA Cup final against us. That's why we've got to be mentally switched on all times, because they're going to be going for it from minute 1 to minute 90. If we somehow slip and we make a mistake, they're going to capitalise on it. So we've got to make sure we're mentally, physically on it from minute 1 to minute 90, because if we're not, they could get a bloody result out of this if we're not careful as well. Burnley have scored 23 goals and conceded 30 goals so far this season. You know what, Burnley, they're alright. We've got to just make sure we get a good start. We've got to be sharp on the ball, we've got to be bright. We need a bright start from these players. We need a quick start. If we can do all those things, we can beat Burnley. Honestly, we can beat Burnley. This should not be a problem for us against Burnley. We just got to be mentally, physically on it from minute 1 to minute 90. Like I said, this will be their FA Cup final. They've only just beaten Everton. They might be on a bit of a downer, but when they look at that fixture list, they'll go, Man United's coming up now. Let's give them a good game. They always put on a good game against us at Turf Moor as well. Got to be switched on at all times in this game. We just need that intent. We need that last pass and make sure we put our chances away. We just need to beat them, get these out of the way, get 3 points on the board, and let's get another win. Shouldn't be a problem against Burnley, to be fair. And I don't want to be coming back on here on Sunday having a go at this team, because after that result against Newcastle, you should be thinking, right, let's go and beat Burnley now, and let's just not take our eye off the ball. That's why we just got to keep this up now, go and beat Burnley, and let's see what happens. Ollie needs to pick the right team, put the players in the right positions. He needs to balance the team out right. The structure in the team needs to be right. We need the depth in the team, and he needs to select the right formation for the game. The last time we won at Turf Moor was on Sunday, the 2nd of September 2018, and it ended 2-0 to United. Martial keeps scoring at Burnley as well, so I hope he keeps that ratio up as well against Burnley as well. The last time we lost at Turf Moor was on Thursday the 20th of August 2009, and it ended 1-0 to Burnley. Funny enough, that was the first time we played each other as well. Since then, United have never lost away from home against Burnley. Hope we keep that up as well. But like I said, they'll be going for this from minute 1 to minute 90. It's their FA Cup final. They only just got beat 1-0 against Everton. We just got to come in with this game and just make sure that we treat this as another game, going with the right mentality, right mindset, and let's go and bloody beat Burnley. The players to look out for is Tarkowski, me, Goodmanson, Brady, Hendrick. He may have been good at his Everton days, but probably not now. Lennon, Westwood, Cork, McNeil, Barnes, Wood, Rodriguez, and Vidra. Hope you guys have enjoyed another video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you are new. See you guys in the video in the next couple of days, and peace.